to councillors in the context of the Celbridge Local Area Plan is predictably very negative. People are wondering what's the point in the public process that they're encouraged to engage in when it's a foregone conclusion before you start. That's the decision, that the decision is pretty much made in the Customs House. I've had people on to me utterly disheartened, some saying they're contemplating moving because of the mess that is going to be made of the town and the total disregard for the views of the public who made their submissions in their thousands. I've had people question what's the point of electing councillors when the real power lies with the council CEO and the Customs House. This is not a group of councillors that have gone rogue. They have respected the process and they have listened and engaged with the public. But that's counted for nothing. So democracy itself in that context is sullied. The sheer scale and extent of the development now provided for, but also the location of some of the development and the absence of supporting infrastructure and services, something people have real concerns about. It's a pattern that they've got used to. It's not a planning system that's about avoiding chaos. It's one that is about creating chaos and responding to it then. People in Celbridge are not opposed to new housing, far from it. But it's not enough on its own. The directions you made relate to two locations. The first one is the Donaghcumper, a location of significant historic importance adjacent to the internationally important Castletown House. An expert study commissioned in 2006 by Kildare County Council by UCD's Department of Architecture, Landscape and Civil Engineering stated, this study has clarified the extraordinary degree of design and planning evident in the composite design of three domains, those of Castletown, St Wilson's and Donaghcumper. With their key spinal town in Celbridge, they form a remarkable instance of the quality and vision of 18th century landscape design. Unquote. This is at the heart of Celbridge, and it's why it's a historic town. Following thousands of submissions from the public who valued their inherited heritage, the councillors zoned the land in Donaghcumper Demesne as strategic open space. The council CEO had proposed a zoning for a town centre extension. You've overruled the councillors and instead say that the Donaghcumper site is centrally located and is the most appropriate location for town centre zoning for future commercial retail and other related facilities. I just want to say that this site is small. It's 6.5 hectares. It's not a gigantic site, but it's a very important site. If it wasn't of historic importance, that would be fine, but it is. And I just think there's a great irony in that your own department on the 22nd of July 2009 expressed concerns at the potential of a previously proposed development and how it might impact on the character and setting of Castletown House and its designed landscape and protected views. And I quote from the correspondence from the department at the and its designed landscape and protected views. And I quote from the correspondence from the department at the time, the issues of particular concern would be the potential adverse effects on the built heritage and their settings, which would include Castletown House, Donaghcumper House and the built heritage of the area, the built heritage of the town, protected structures and recorded monuments. There is a history to this site. Some of the lands were zoned residential and for town centre extension in 2001. Planning applications followed. They were approved by the council, but there was a lengthy oral hearing when it was appealed to on Board Planola. The board overturned. I'm just finishing. The board overturned the proposals on the principle of building in this historically important site that was and said it was unfortunate that it was zoned in the first place.
Mr. English is 4 minutes.
Thanks, Concorla. I want to thank Deputy Murphy for giving me the opportunity to address this important issue, and for thank her and all our colleagues as well who engaged with me over the months around this site and this development plan area as well, and many other councils as well, and through the system who have engaged over the last couple of months on this, and all the residents, the many hundreds who have emailed me personally, and many who took time out to make submissions to the process as well, because that is part of it. And yes, everyone's submission was listened to, was read through, reports from the council as well, and it took time itself as well to look at them as well. And again, it is a site that I visited myself and spent time in the area and spent time up at Castletown House as well to look at the views and see how this would affect on the overall area. So I did take this part of my job very seriously as well. I have a statutory function under the Planning Code whereby I monitor statutory plans to ensure that they are consistent with established national planning policies and comply with the relevant legislative requirements. Where this does not happen, the power to issue Section 31 directions provide a safeguarding mechanism, and I might add is only used in a very limited number of cases, relative to some 300 statutory development plans and local area plans across the state. In the case of Celbridge, as Deputy Murphy knows, I used those powers on Friday last, the 10th of November 2017. The simple fact of the matter is that Celbridge is a strategically located town within that fast-growing cluster of towns, including Maynooth and Leixlip, is earmarked to grow in population terms by about 10,000 people over the next 5 to 10 years. And we have to ask ourselves, do we want Celbridge and towns like it just to be dormitory towns, all commuters but no commercial heart? Celbridge has a very weak, some say declining, but historic town centre. All I am trying to do here, and through our planning department, is to uphold national policy in ensuring that in relation to the one small area that it can grow. In the future, those local communities will regret the situation that they find themselves in, having to provide the shops, the services they need, at the edges of the towns, and even worse than that, maybe not in those towns at all, but in neighbouring towns. Yes, it will be important to get the balance right on the development of the centre of Celbridge. And yes, we will need to respect its historic urban and landscape character. I believe we will benefit from really well-designed new housing right in the centre to give a new life to it and to create new footfall for its struggling Main Street, whose vitality should be the key focus. I want to emphasise that, and I'm very clear on that this is also to support that centre and that main centre. And I've been on it and seen it and so on. And a lot of business there would have seen declining business over the years because people can't get at it or can't get around to it. And this is to put some housing right beside it, right, to be able to support that as well. There will also be a new public park on Riverside Amenity, which will be a major attractor from the town centre. And we need to get working now and putting this plan into practice. And again, from the land that was previously zoned and the amount of land that was previously zoned there a long number of years ago, there's a lot less now and a lot less housing than that. And on top of that, we have quite a portion of land now that's been handed over. Local authority owned this since 2012, and that can be developed now as a top-class amenity and park. And again, to also protect the character of the landscape and the house and the lands there as well. So I think there's been great efforts made here to do this right. And I've seen previous planning applications and previous footage of what could have happened there, the scale that could have happened. That's not what we're allowing for here at all. That's not what we're envisaging, and looking forward to working with Kildare County Council and others to make the vision of this happen and deliver it properly. The site offers an ideal opportunity to revitalise and regenerate the core of Celbridge for new and existing residents alike, and to integrate sensitively with the recognised assets of the River Liffey, Castletown Domain and the historic Main Street. The alternative would be the creation of more poor quality, car-based shopping commercial developments that occupy peripheral locations and undermine the distinctive character and attraction of an important town like Celbridge. My department now stands ready to work with Kildare County Council to ensure that those lands to the south of the Main Street at Donaghcumper are developed in a manner and in a pace that will protect the commercial vitality of the town centre, the heritage value of the adjacent Castletown Domain, and will enable the creation of a new Riverside public amenity set out in the local area plan. And again, I want to be very clear. I read all the submissions, went through them all myself personally. We were engaged with the OPW who own the house in question, and everyone's been asking that. And I want to very clearly again say, this is a zoning matter. It's not a granted planning permission. And anyone who wants to develop that is to bring forward plans that are sustainable and that pass all the tests and that will address all the concerns of the residents in Celbridge as well.
Deputy Murphy has 2 minutes. The Minister will have a further 2 minutes.
I do acknowledge that you did engage with us, and I had a meeting with you myself and talked to you on several occasions about this. Let me just outline the Celbridge has 6,500 houses there at the moment. There's an additional 3,500 proposed over the next 6 years, which is about a 70% increase over the number of housing. We're talking about a very small site at the centre that is historically absolutely critical to the heritage of the town and the reason why it's a heritage town. In fact, I'm questioning whether or not, the national planning framework is being undermined by some of what is actually being proposed. Kildare has, for example, a population of 220,000 people, with 80,000 extra people proposed over the next 6 years. So we're not talking minor, and Kildare has, like your own county, is one of the areas that has done the heavy lifting in terms of the residential development over the years. People engaged with this process in their thousands, and they do it every time. They did it when there was planning applications in the past. They did it at every stage of this process. Yes, they had the right to make their views known, but they don't feel that their views were listened to, and they feel their councillors were disrespected in the view that they took. This is not just any site. This is a historically important site where there's an 18th century landscape, a designed landscape that is a reference point for Castletown House, which people are rightly very proud of. I wonder, when you look at, when you're talking about the commercial viability, that door is well closed. When you have a big, huge 24-hour Tesco, when you have Lidl's, you have Aldi's, you've got a big super value site all outside of the town core. As they developed, the town core started to deplete of businesses. So that is well gone, and it's not going to come back. And I really wonder what you were looking at, Minister.
Minister English.
Again, thanks, Concordia. Again, Deputy Murphy, we don't share the view that it's well gone and that it's not savable. We believe there's an opportunity here to strengthen the town centre and strengthen the core of that, and that's why these lands, as a key town centre piece of land, had been zoned many years ago for a lot more and increased development. That's not what this is about. This is about now trying to develop a plan here that can support the town and support people who live around the town as well as allow for some new housing on that site. And there was other housing proposed on the outskirts, which we removed. So the overall number of units was not about inflicting more housing units in Celbridge. It's wrong to say that. We're looking for a better balance, and we want to develop the core centre of the town. And again, it's for the point, I've seen all these towns where they have all these, as you said, retail units on the edge of town. That doesn't support the town centre. And we are quite happy now, and I will write to Kildare County Council on this, to try to work with the Council on developing this site in a proper phase basis, which will help work with the existing commercial town centre that's there and get that balance right, and as well as develop some new customers for them with some new housing right in the centre of town where people want to live, where they don't have to always drive a car, right? Constantly they have a choice and an opportunity to live beside a town centre and avail of all the services, including the fabulous lands around Castletown House and the new park that hopefully will be developed now by Kildare County Council. They own the land. I would urge them to bring it forward in a very sensitive way. So there's an ideal opportunity here to do this right. And again, I read the submissions of the owners of that Castletown House, and I wish everybody else would as well, and we try to respond to all the needs here. And I accepted all of the residents' raised concerns, and I think we've managed to address that, because if you read all the issues they were concerned about, I think we might even historically the maps they were looking at and seeing how bad it could have been years ago with previous zoning. I believe this is appropriate and that it's right. And again, it's my job to do that, that the guidelines are there, national guidelines are there, not to pay lip service to, but to actually use them and implement them where we believe it's right. And local councils, and I engage them a lot, generally do a great job when it comes to planning. In some cases, they don't always get it right, and we believe in this case that they're not aligned to national policies, and I've had to intervene to make changes here. It's not something I take easily. That's why I spent a lot of time on this decision. I went down there on numerous occasions and walked the lands to be absolutely sure that we're doing the right thing here. And I'm happy to work with all to actually develop it out. But to be clear, it's a zoning, not a planning application.
Deputy,